Hello, hello, hello. This is Bob Stafale. I want to make sure you can hear me clearly. We did have some issues with the sound last week. Okay, we got our screen showing perfectly. Okay, so just real quick, I want to make sure you can hear me clearly. So put your hand up if you can hear me clearly. On the upper right hand of your side of your screen, you're going to see a little hand. So just click the hand on and off if you can hear me clearly. Just click your hand on and off if you can hear me clearly. It's the upper right hand of your screen. You're going to see a little hand. So just do that if you can't. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. All righty. Well, we are full of news. Now, we have a bit of an electrical storm happening. So if all of a sudden I'm gone, you'll know why. So this is the Tampa, Florida area, and it's pretty rainy. So just one more time, I just want to make sure you can hear me clearly. Just click on your little hand. There you go. Perfecto. All right, great. Well, I just want to remind everybody the purpose of this briefing, of course, is to do several things. It's to give you trends and news, and also give you a leg up on technology out there. Now, tonight is part two of our Everything You Need to Know About Crypto series. And tonight I'm gonna gen you in on three sites that are really amazing in terms of giving tremendous data about brand new cryptocurrencies and tremendous data. So that's going to be going down tonight. I also will be talking about what just happened with BitShares. I got a debrief today from Sean Worthington about exactly where everything stands and the exact steps they're taking right now to launch uh, CloudCoin on the platform. I did see on BitShares, so that'll be the first mega exchange that CloudCoin is trading on, which is a big, big, big deal. In addition to that, I did get an email right before I came on, which I believe is giving me the date and time of two different segments of business icons. And the two segments, one is about CloudCoin and the other is about Celebrium. So they're going to be on Fox Business Network, and I'll find out the times of those segments. I think it's in my email box. I wasn't able to open up the email because had to get ready for our webinar tonight. So that's happening. So let's go right to it. There's three big news items, three really big news items, and I tell you, it was totally predictable. I said last webinar that the big money guys, the Goldman Sachses of the world, the big, huge traders out there, were trying to continue to depress the cost of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum. They were trying to depress the cost. And I said, they're going to have to figure out some news because they look. I thought they shot every single gun, but sure enough, they shot a really, 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 really big gun that looks like it's now already started to bounce off. But the news came out that the Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice, opens up criminal investigation into currency price manipulation. I tell you what, these guys are creative, nothing else. So, what are they saying? Well, they're saying that some people out there were manipulating the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and several other currencies. Now, just to just to give you my thoughts on it, already it pushed Bitcoin down to 7,300 or less, I think today, and now it's already rolling back up 75, 68 and climbing. if you recall kind of the trend here, there's a bunch of bad news right after the holidays, Christmas holidays. And it was like, it was like a tidal wave of bad news, bad news, bad news, bad news. And they were able to push Bitcoin down to about $6,000. And then it slowly but surely would rise to 7,000, and then they'd smash it with bad news again. And then it rose up to like 7,300, and a wall of bad news. And then right before the tax day in the U.S., which was I think the 17th this year, with April 17th, they tried one more time with some bad news, and that kind of bounced off, and Bitcoin rose to about 8,300, 8,400, right around there. And so I was saying, well, it looks like they may have run out of bad news, but you never know. So out comes the Justice Department, opens up criminal investigation to price manipulation. Probably about as bad a news as you could probably throw at things. But once again, it kind of bounced off. BTC, Bitcoin, is rolling back up again. Wouldn't be at all surprised if by the middle of next week it's back up to 8,000 and above, which then we're now into June. Now, I'll try to find out the exact day that Goldman Sachs is going to be opening up their trading desk, but that's kind of the day that I'm looking forward. And so that's why whenever I get a chance, I'm trying to accumulate additional Bitcoin, additional Litecoin, additional Bitcoin Cash, just because it's my firm belief, this is what I'm doing at least, that once Goldman Sachs has opened up their trading desk, they, of course, don't want to have losses for their clients, right? Doesn't that make sense? So all of a sudden, you're going to see some pretty interesting activity. Now, also, this activity by the DOJ, Department of Justice, can truly clean out some bad actors, which then once again makes the big hedge funds more comfortable with investing. It makes it more possible for the big mutual funds, those big players, to get involved. So all in all, as long as the news doesn't collapse the market, I'm okay, because I know what they're doing. I mean, I really do. And, since I've been talking literally here, Bitcoin now has rolled up another $4 to $10, just in the last 4 minutes. So all interesting, not unexpected at all. And let me just show you a key piece of evidence that this just is not working, the bad news attempting to drop the price. Here's a key thing for you to look at. I want to make sure you can see this. This is the number of blockchain wallet users worldwide. And I told you last week that the fourth quarter growth was the biggest growth ever. And that went from 17.2 million wallets to 21.5 million wallets out there worldwide. And that's the number of people that are, have wallets that are trading currencies. Well, even despite all the bad stuff that all the PR guys could throw, the number of wallets increased to 23,952,000 by the end of March. So even with all the stuff that the big financial institutions were throwing at the wall to get the price depressed, so when they start buying in mid to late June, they'd get great deals. Well, it didn't discourage more and more people to get wallets. And this is probably one of the most important graphs to look at to see what's happening. The site is Statista, Statista, that's Statista.com. And it's the worldwide blockchain wallet users graph. And this is something that I look at and watch to check out trends. Okay, what's the next piece of huge news? This is a very big deal. The big Russian central bank, which is, I may butcher this pronunciation, but I think it's Sberbank with a silent B. I could be wrong, but this is a huge Russian bank. I think number 3, along with the National Settlement Depository, will now pilot the country's first official initial coin offering. That's a big deal, because I can tell you right now, you've got a lot of money with just a ton of very, very wealthy Russians, billionaires and multi-millionaires. So if they start getting into the game heavy in terms of crypto, once again, it's a whole new set of buyers. And if they're really killing it, other countries, Eastern Europe, the EU in general, are not going to want to miss out on the party. So the fact that they are now piloting their first official ICO, once again, very, very, very big deal. And if Russia completely opens up this market, that is huge. So these are all things that show you where the industry is going. And it's important for you to understand. If you know where the trends are going, you can anticipate the future. Now, here's the third big piece of news. Okay, India. Okay, let me get this rolled up here. Here we go. 1 second. Get the headline so you can see it. There we go. Now, this is a really interesting deal. So, the India Central Bank decided to restrict the big commercial banks and regular banks from getting involved with crypto. Okay? So, that the whole word out was that was going to somehow depress the market, the crypto market in India. Okay, it didn't. It just kept on building and building and building and building so much that now the India central government is now considering taxing cryptocurrencies. Now, you're all probably going, oh my gosh, this could set off a terrible trend. Well, the point is that you have the most populous country in the world. Actually, they're number 2. I think they are going back and forth with China, but India may be past China now. But irrespective, I think they're 1.3 billion citizens. So India, whether they're the first or second most populous country, is now looking to open up crypto. And the biggest indicator you have is that the government wants to make money. If the government wants to make money and they see that there's a gigantic marketplace and they see that they can make money, well, then they're going to make it possible for crypto to really start flying in India. And India has a huge, huge population of what are called underbanked or completely unbanked people. Those are the natural people for cryptocurrencies, people that don't have a bank account at a regular bank. So how in the heck do they, how the heck do they get money? How do they get currency? How do they do it? Well, in India, it's got a great infrastructure for telecom, tremendous telecom infrastructure they're building up there, in part because they have a huge tech sector now, gigantic tech sector. And that means they're going to have cell phones. And the more cell phones are out there, those will end up becoming the banks of the future. That's going to be your little, your bank branch. It's going to be in your cell phone. And that's where crypto kills, because people can buy and use crypto. And that means the people who are underbanked, which are literally billions of people worldwide, are going to have a currency. So what's going to happen then? If all of a sudden you have a huge rush of more buyers for crypto, it drives the price up. Now, this is particularly important for currencies that are lower cost, that are true currencies. Like Bitcoin itself, it is really not a retail currency. It's really a transfer or storage point for value. It's value storage. That's what Bitcoin is. They're not using Bitcoin to buy soda pops. So the underbanked people are going to be naturally gravitating towards currencies that trade easily. Now, one piece of news that that's I'm going to talk about later is that I'm going to give you news about Cloudcoin and what they have done in terms of speeding up transactions. They just completed a test. I'm not going to spoil the news right yet, but they completed a very important test obviously in relation to their big news about BitShares. So India deciding that they want to raise taxes or have taxes on cryptocurrencies is a huge deal. Now, the number they put up there is 18%. Well, in negotiations, you always go high and then settle back down to what it's going to be. But to me, it doesn't really matter. To me, it's just another sign that crypto is here for a very, very long time, which is very good for all us early adopters who are way ahead of schedule here. So that's exceedingly important news. So let's go into how to find really cool new currencies. And I'm going to kind of give you some insider sites and show you some pretty interesting stuff here. We're going to start with the first site is designed to help you see brand new coins that just began trading. Okay? These just began trading. And it gives you the ones that just started today, and then it goes to, they're 2-day old, 3-day old, 4-day old, and you want to write this down. You can always, you'll see, you want to listen to this this webinar. We're going to put it up. We're recording it right now. We're going to put it up at Digital Frontier News. But the site is called CoinMarketCap.com. CoinMarketCap.com. And if you take a look, this is what you have to look for. Now, you have the symbol, which is you got the name of the coin, obviously, right there on the left-hand side. You have the symbol. That's where you can go to exchanges that have, currencies up where you can buy and sell. There's the day it was added. This one was just added. This means that these are trading on exchanges. That's what this means. It means they were just added to some exchange or more than, some exchanges. Now, this was added today. Now, its price, market cap is the total size of the market of the coins. Like all of their coins together, all combined in a big pile, that's your market cap. So you see Digitex futures, you'll see $9,300,000. And you go a little lower, you see Fabric token, that's almost 22.2 million. And you go lower, you'll see, there's a Morpheus Network, that's at 9.5 million. So that's your market cap. Now you'll see some of these others. I mean, these things are so doggone new that you don't even know what the market cap is yet. Then you go to price. That tells you what's the price of that currency at the moment. Now in Vatio is at 20 cents. You have Digitex futures, that's at 1.3 cents. The next one's at 20 cents. The next one's at 6 cents. You get an idea of what starts happening with the currency as soon as it starts trading. Now look at their 24, and you'll also see the volume of trading. You see that? Okay? And you'll see the number of coins. Circulating supply lets you know how many coins are out there. Okay? So you got symbol, you got the day added, you got the market cap of that currency. That means all their currencies combined in a ball. You have the price, current price. You have the circulating supply. That's how many coins are out there that one can, theoretically acquire. Then you have the volume of the last 24 hours. As you can see with Invatio, look at that. This first day, they've almost sold $570,000 worth of coins, and it's gone up 32%. Pretty good. As you can see, most of these currencies have gone up in their first few days. Some have gone down, most have gone up. But you take a look at some of these, like you have local world forwarders. Look at this one. This thing is really moving. Okay? Went up 19%, and that's after 2 days. But look at the size of the market cap. Gives you an idea of how big the company is. Now, so on the left-hand side, you have the company, and you can click that on and learn more about the company. So what do you do here? You start taking a look at which ones have a big market cap, which ones have a big circulating supply, what kind of volume do they have? Obviously, you want to have a currency that has a lot of trading volume. If you take, so look at that, right? You look at some of these coins. Red, which is number 4, had $2.7 million worth of the coins trading in 24 hours. Even the smallest ones are $87,000 in 24 hours. Okay? So let's just go down and take a look at what's been happening as the coins get older and older. Okay, now look at this. Now we're into the third day. Look at the third day. You have Unibright. Circulating supply, 125 million. Its price has gone up 22%. It's trading at almost $1 million a day. You got a market cap of 17 million for all coins collected. So that's really gone up nicely. Let's go down a little farther and you see some more coins. 9 days old, 10 days old. Look at this one. You got one that's called Zippy. Okay. What I'm looking at is a number of things. That circulating supply is kind of important. I am also looking at the volume. Volume is important for me because something isn't trading. Like you got this one called Utrum, Utrum. I mean, they had $1,000 worth trading, $1,000. That's nothing. That's not very good. Okay, $1,000 trading in one day after 13 days, not good. So you want to make sure there's a lot of volume. And you can see there's some pretty big volume ones. You take a look at Scrumble Network, 7 cents. It's trading 5,700,000 last 24 hours. That's a lot of trading. Tremendous amount of trading. Let's go a little further down. Okay, we're down to the currencies that have been trading for anywhere from 15 to 20 days. Once again, take a look at the volume levels on the right-hand side. The volume is almost as important as what's happened to the price since they started. Because, I mean, the price could go up 30%, but if they're only trading $1,000 worth of coins a day, you can't liquidate. Does that make sense? So you want to stay away from these currencies that have trading at like 16,000 in a day. That's terrible. You got another one here. Better Betting. Oh, I can only imagine what that is. That's 8,000 in a day. Okay. So this is a fantastic site for looking at brand new currencies of all types. Now, this doesn't mean these are not necessarily ICOs. These are currencies that are now trading on one or more exchanges that obviously this website can monitor. All right. So that's a very strong page. Let's go to the next page, the next site. Okay, what is this? Well, this is giving you an idea of what's happening in the ICO world. What are the currencies that are that just went active? That's on your left-hand side. So you can find out about these brand new ICOs that are active. Then you have the middle slot, gives you the upcoming ICOs. It tells you when they're going to launch. It tells you what they do, so you can learn about the company. And that's obviously good. So on the left-hand side, you've got active ICOs. Okay? Active ICOs. The middle column is upcoming ICOs. And you can learn all about those companies. And that's a good thing. Let me see. Let me pull one of these up. View website. Okay, let's just check it out here. I'm going to go ahead and jump. See, look, you can just take a look at the all about the company. This is called a distributed credit chain. I haven't taken a look at this one yet, but tells you when the ICO is about to start, and then of course you can learn about the company. The white paper is what you want to read when you want to learn about these companies. You got to read the white paper, okay? And listen, if you went to these sites, you got to find the white paper to learn about it, or some may not call it a white paper. Some might call it about us, okay? And that's fine. I don't care what they name it, but they need to have a section on their site that talks about what the heck the currency is. So some will be called about us section. Some will be white paper. It doesn't really matter to me as long as they're telling you what they're all about, okay? So when this site, write this down or take it down when you listen to this recording again, is ICOalert.com. ICOalert.com. And just to restate again, on the left-hand side, you have the active ICOs that are actually happening. Let's take a look at one. Let's look at Neoplay. Let's look at their website. Okay, here we go. Neoplay. So they got a crowd sale going on. Cross network dicing platform. Who the heck knows what that is? But here, you would go to the overview to learn about this company. So that's what you would do. That's what you're going to learn. You learn all about the crypto right there in the overview. Like I said, every one of these companies, they have different names. Some will call it their overview. Some will call it white paper. Some will call it about us. As long as you get to learn all about it, that's important. So that is the next site, ICO Alert. That's going to give you an idea of the active ICOs. It's going to give you an idea of the upcoming ICOs. And the right side, look what you got here. Concluded ICOs, ones that just ended. Okay? So these are interesting because you can then see if these ICOs are now trading, and then you can maybe cross-check the ICO that's completed. You can see how it did. Then you can go over to your other page, which tells you all the different currencies, how they're doing. You go to that and take a look at that. See if these are trading over on that other page I showed you, which tells you the brand new coins. So you want to kind of go back and forth between these different sites. So ICOalert.com is a very important one for you to remember. Here's the next one. This is a really interesting site. Now, what do these guys do? They have crowd rating. Crowd rating. So if you see the name of the company, okay, like at the top, it's Data Blockchain. This is the one we're looking at right now. It started, it's going to start May 27th. It's going to end 21 June. The one below that started already 30 April. It's going to end 25 June. You have other ones that are about to start. You got Veracity, which is started just a couple days ago. It's going to end 11 July. If you look on the right-hand side, you're going to see ratings. This is a really cool site because it's kind of like if you go to Amazon and you're looking at buying something, you all look at the reviews, right? If you're gonna buy you're gonna buy some shoes, you're gonna look at what the ratings are on Amazon. If you find a company that has 3 stars or 2 stars out of 5, you're gonna run for the hills. You're not gonna buy from them. But if you see them at 4.5, 4.8, 4.9 stars, you're going to feel pretty comfortable. Well, that's what this site does. This site gives you ratings, and these ratings are not done by. I hope you can hear me. They are not done by some people in the company that are paid money to rate. You know what I mean? This is crowd rating. This is thousands of people who are participating in the rating of these different currencies. So, how do you work these 3 different sites? Well, you take the first site and you identify maybe between 5 to 10 really cool currencies. Try to, get up there to 10 if you can. Then you go to the next site and you see the currencies that are about to start on ICOs or in the middle of ICOs or have just completed ICOs. And you select 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 that you like here. And then you start looking, okay, you take these first 2 lists of 5 to 10 cryptos, each one for each site, and you start seeing if any of those are discussed on the third site. You check it out. And if you could find, for instance, a coin that's matching up on one or more of the sites in a good way, well, you may be coming home to a winner. Now, once again, it's very important. For my other training, I always talk about if the coin isn't solving a problem that's a long-term problem or isn't solving a long-term need, it's going to be a coin that's not going to be around long haul. So understand, if you're selecting a coin or a token that you're going to hold for a long time, it better have in other words, if it's a long-term play, you better make sure it's solving a relevant problem or a relevant need. If it's just one of these things that it's like a fad coin or a fad token, there are plenty of those, then the only way or only reason you would touch a fad token or a fad coin is if you were really going to buy and sell rapidly. And you better have really good information if you're determining that you're going to buy something with the intention of selling it quick. And that's a really tough thing to do. You're going to have some very solid information, unless it's just a bet. Maybe the coin is only, or the token's only at 1 cent or 2 cents or half a cent or whatever, and maybe it just started trading on the first site I told you about, and maybe you see a lot of volume on there, and it's a bet, and it's not a long-term play. You're just going to buy and see what happens. But if it's a long-term play, if you want to stick with that company for a long-term play, it must solve something. It's got to solve something, or it's got to meet an issue and handle an issue that a large percent of the population has. Okay, that's real important. So those 3 sites are really ones that you should focus on and use as another indicator of what's happening. I told you about CoinRank last week. That's an excellent one. You can listen to my detailed description of that. from last week's webinar. But this is how you can start learning about and finding brand new coins or newer coins or hot coins. So that's what you want to do there. All right, so let's get over to the big news on CloudCoin. And once again, the problem that CloudCoin addresses is it resolves the issue about a real retail currency. And why do I say that? Because the transactions can happen very rapidly. Now, I talked about India. I talked last week about Africa. I talked about billions of people that are unbanked or underbanked. They don't have a bank account. So how are they going to buy things? Well, one way they're going to buy things is they're going to have a cell phone, and they better have a currency where the transaction can happen instantly and quickly. Now, that's what the CloudCoin addresses. It handles fast transactions. And to prove my point, they've been working on upgrading the speed of the transaction ability of CloudCoin. And they just finished testing of their upgrades, and now they're up to 38,000 transactions a second. I want you to hear that again. They've now been testing, or what's called load testing, their software upgrade, and they now can do 38,000 transactions in a second. That's more transactions than Visa does a second. Now, that should be music to your ears. Once again, how can CloudCoin do that? Well, it's because they're not using blockchain, which basically slows down the transaction speed dramatically. Okay? They use an anti-counterfeiting solution, which basically is kind of like a passport. If I get you a coin, I send you a coin. From the point that I send the coin to you, they have well over 24 nodes, all of which are like passport officers. If you ever gone through an airport, you know what I'm talking about. They check your credentials. And if you have 25 of these things in a row, all checking the credentials, if any one of them says, then all of a sudden the transaction's rejected. So that's the and I gave a very simple description, by the way. It's far more sophisticated than that, but that gives you an idea what it does. So CloudCoin resolves an issue, which is probably the single biggest issue for currencies right now, which is the transaction speed. So why is that important? Because they just cut a deal with BitShares. And BitShares is what's best described as a decentralized exchange. BitShares is a decentralized exchange. So they are specifically looking out for many different types of currency solutions to put on their exchange, because they want to be able to trade every single imaginable currency. So that's when they got real excited about CloudCoin. So what's happening right now, and what's happening this very moment? Well, right now, CloudCoin has what's called a group that is putting together. Best describe it as a development kit. Excuse me. And what this kit does is it is software that they hand off to the exchange that allows for the trading of the CloudCoin on their exchange. It's a kit. It's a way for CloudCoin to be traded at BitShares. And you do what's called a development kit so that you can then hand off the adjustments for BitShares so they can begin trading CloudCoin. So CloudCoin is working on the developer kit, and I may not be using the exact language that's perfectly described, but it's pretty good. So that's what they're doing right this very moment. So I will be getting updates, every 3 to 4 days on what the progress is. Because if you all remember, we go to this giant show in July, the Freedom Fest, which is a huge, huge show where all these libertarians go. I mean, the number of speakers there are amazing. We got a huge booth. Kevin Harrington's going to be at our booth. Kevin Harrington, the original investor on Shark Tank, is going to be on the booth talking about Cloudcoin and Celebrium. We're going to get press at the booth. So we have a number of things happening all at the same time. We have the Fox Business segments coming up shortly. I believe it's in the next 2 weeks. Then we have BitShares and the potential to have that up and operating. I hope it's up and operating by July, mid-July, but it's all down to developers. And then you have the big Freedom Fest, which is in July. I think it's the second week of July, if I'm not mistaken. So you have 3 huge events that are happening that all 3 can end up starting that sudden hockey stick rising quickly. Now, I announced also, since I've had a lot of people who have been waiting, kind of holding. They've gotten some coins, they've gotten some cloud coins, they've got a small amount of cloud coins, and they've been kind of waiting to hear about news in the future about exchanges, about what we're doing with the Freedom Fest. And there's quite a few people who did not partake in the recent offerings, the special offers that we've done over the last 3 months. So what I'm going to do just for the next 7 days is I have a small amount of coins, roughly 1 million, that I'm going to make available at the original price that I offered to the Bruce Wiseman investors and his newsletter people. The original thing that we did way back when, I'm going to do that for the next 7 days for that limited number of coins, just for those people. I have a lot of people who are kind of holding off on taking advantage of any specials because they kind of wanted to see what was going on with exchanges, and they're kind of doing a little bit of sitting back and looking and waiting. So for you folks, this is open to everybody, but in particular for you folks that weren't able or didn't want to until they heard a little bit more news, a little bit more progress on exchanges, I'm going to open that up. So the way I have a quick instructional email on what to do, but if you're interested in the special, we're going to call that the quick 7-day special. It's going to start today. It's going to end next Friday, and it's limited to just 1 million coins. That's it, and that usually gets eaten up pretty fast. I'm going to provide the price that we did way back when to the Bruce Wiseman newsletter guys and the folks getting his newsletter. So email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com, bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com if you want to get in on that. And I'll have a quick little instruction email. It's very simple if you want to do something there. So once again, just email me at bob@digitalcurrencygrowth.com and put the subject line quick special. Okay. And that really is due to the fact that I had many people who kind of held off a little bit because they wanted to kind of find out what's the progress on exchanges, what's the progress on the Freedom Fest, what are you doing on PR? So that's cool. I have no problem with that. So for those folks, and any folks can get involved with this, but particularly I'm looking for those folks that sat back a little bit. So I hope this was effective in terms of the training tonight. I am going to do a part 3, everything you need to know about crypto. I had a lot of people excited what we did last week. Now, before we end off, let's go ahead and do our drawing for 10,000 cloud coins. And here's the cool: we had a very large crowd tonight. We have actually 205. We have 205 people right now. So we're going to go ahead and do our drawing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, number 125 is the winner. Whoever was the 121st person, 125th person here, is just won themselves 10,000 crowd coins, and that's good because guess what? About to start trading on BitShares, about to do the Freedom Fest, about to have the Fox business broadcast up. That's two different segments, one on CloudCoin, one on Celebrium. So thanks a lot for attending tonight's briefing.